to teach your kids about money in 3, 2, 1. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am Dumont from Top Shelf Credit, and today's video is how to teach your kids about money. One thing that was very important to me was teaching my kids how to manage their money and what they're supposed to do with it. Because I work in credit repair, I see a lot of people who have financial troubles, or they get in debt, or their scores have gone down because they can't pay their bills on time. And so for me, it's important that I teach my kids how to manage their money, what they're supposed to do with their money, so that in the future they'll be prepared when it is time for them to manage that on their own. I think that a lot of people end up in these situations where their credit is maybe suffering, or they're in debt because they weren't really taught about money initially. And it happens to a lot of people. My parents taught me about money, but it was very vague. My dad taught me how to calculate the taxes that would come out of my check so that I would know how much I would be taking home. So my first job, I made $6.08 an hour, and he taught me to just take 20% off the top, and then my check would more than likely be a little bit more than what I calculated, and that's how I would plan my money. Really, that's it. My parents didn't really teach me about credit. I had to learn about it on my own. So this video is going to be a part of a 3-part series where I show you how to teach your kids about money, credit, and banking. My son is sick, so I'm going through this process with him, and I'm going to show you how I set it all up. The gist of it is he gets $10 a week. $5 is based on him doing his chores. The other $5 is based on the grades that he gets in school. So every day the teacher sends home a planner and they tell us what grade he got for the day. Each of those grades is on a pay scale, and then it tells him how much he gets for that day for whatever grade. So the highest grade gets the most amount of money, which is $1. The lowest grade is gonna get nothing. At the end of the week on Friday, we look at his chore chart. He has a morning chore chart and an evening chore chart. We look at his chore chart, we determine how much money he gets from his chores, if he did all his chores. We look at his school schedule and see what grades he got for the week, and then I make him calculate what he's supposed to receive for his allowance. And the most he is able to get is 10, but obviously he might not get all of that depending on how he did for the week. Now, this part is super important to me because it's important for kids to understand that the money you receive is directly related to the work and the effort that you put in. And a lot of parents don't teach that, and I've gotten pushback from my family about this, and I want to explain to you why it's important to me. As adults, when we go to work or when we go out to the workforce, even if we own our own business, the money that we bring in is always in direct correlation with the work that we have done. So it's important to teach kids early on that you get money based on your work, okay? And so if you go to school and you act crazy and you're not listening, you're not gonna make that much money. And it's the same thing if they were to go to work. So it's important to teach them that. He can get up to $10, but depending on his behavior and how well he manages his responsibilities, he might get less than that. And then his grandparents decided that they would look at his month as a whole, and at the end of the month, depending on how he did, they might give him a certain percentage as a kicker. He has to eat what he kills, basically. So whatever effort and work he puts in, the money that he gets is a direct correlation of that. Once he gets that money, he has to pay his bills. So he gets paid on Fridays. Fridays is when he pays bills. He has 50 cents for rent. He has 25 cents for insurance, and he has 25 cents for electric. I got pushback from my family on this as well, but it's important for kids to understand how to pay bills. You have to pay for your livelihood. You have to pay for the things that you want. So I want to set him up early so that he knows and understands how to pay bills. I know that, you know, there's always the kids in high school who, you know, had to work and help their parents pay bills. Society that has a lot to say about that, but when I look back on those individuals or people who I know that have had to put money towards something from a younger age, they're always great with managing their money because they were never able to take all the money that they had and do whatever they want to do with it. And so it's important to me that my son understands, for one, you eat what you kill. For two, once you make your money, you have to pay your bills, and then 3, whatever is left over is what you can use for discretionary spending. So if he makes less for that week, he still has to pay bills, and whatever you have left over is what you have left over for spending. I set him up with the envelope method, so he has different envelopes for different things. He has an envelope for rent, which I said was 50 cents. He has an envelope for electricity, which is 25 cents. He has an envelope for insurance, another 25 cents. He has an envelope for tithe and offering, which he puts in $1 each week. And then he has an envelope for savings. I'm gonna show you guys how I set this all up. It's really not a lot that you would need. So these are all of the supplies that I used. I will go ahead and put a link in the description box below. All I did was create 2 different sheets, one for morning chores and one for evening chores. And I put them all in a command center on the inside of his wall. And I just put everything there in one place. It was very important to me that he was able to have different chores that correlate with things that he should be doing on a daily basis. And so that includes things like cleaning up his room, brushing his teeth. In the morning, we do read a Bible verse together. Every week, what we'll do is he'll sit down, he will total up how much he gets for the week, and that's based on if he has all-stars on his chore chart and the grades that he got in school. And then he will actually sit down and calculate the amount of money that he's supposed to get for his allowance. That's when he gets his money. Once he gets the money, then he will actually put it into the different envelopes. He will pay his bills. He puts the money to the side for tithe and offering, and then he puts the money in his savings envelope, and then he takes that and he puts it back into the command center in his room where all of the bills go in the front slot. So everybody, just a quick video to show you the systems that I set up to help my son learn about money. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment in the comment box if you have any other questions. This is a part of a 3-part series, so I will be doing 2 other videos about how I teach my son about banking and credit. So stay tuned for those. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be notified of any uploads. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.